Welcome to Decentralized News. This is our weekly news roundup where we cover the stories affecting the cryptocurrency space. I am your host, Piter, joined as always by Ozzy, fresh back from NFT New York City. How you doing today? Oh, by the way, nothing we say is financial advice. Please do your own research. How are you, Ozzy?
Oh, I'm doing great. I gotta say I'm a little exhausted from NFTNYC, but learned a lot, met some awesome people IRL, so that was super amazing, and I honestly am excited to dive into this week's news.
Was there anything that surprised you about it? Have you ever been to a conference like that before?
I'd never been to a crypto conference before, so that was like major for
Was
me.
it was it overwhelming in any way? I would imagine it'd be just so much going on all at once
So much
compared
going
to.
on. There were so many talks, and you didn't know where to go and which talks to go to, which talks not to go to.
Yeah.
It was a little disappointing at times. The speakers just wouldn't show up, or that some of that was a little bit disappointing. But I met amazing people that are trying to do groundbreaking work, and so that was really uplifting. For those watching the video, you will see, yes, I'm a little red. I got sunburnt. It was very warm in New York, and I got a bit too much sun.
I saw some posts from your friends. One of them of a guy burning. It was like a Harvard degree. I don't
His
remember
Harvard
exactly.
PhD. That was probably one of the most impactful talks that was given during the conference.
Were you at that one?
I caught part of it because I was there with my two of my friends, and we were both trying to hit different talks so that we could all learn as much as we could, and so I only caught parts of that talk.
Yeah, it's just forget traditional education. I'm all in. That's who you're surrounded by. People willing to burn their Harvard. It's kind
Yeah,
of a neat space to be in.
no, that's it. It's a very weird but really cool space to be in.
Right on. All right, cool. We'll jump into the macro. At the end of last week, the U.S. inflation was reported at 5%, beating expectations by 0.2%. And so far in 2023, inflation has fallen from 6.4 to now 5%. But part of this report, core CPI remained sticky, 5.6% year over year. It actually went up from 5.5. And part of the reason why analysts are predicting at least one more rate hike that's in play.
Oh yeah, at the very least, everyone's expecting one more. Core PC is a key component that core services is not. It's not great to be still seeing that. They're kind of expecting CPI, which has food and energy in it, to be falling as we're coming out of winter, and so energy usage is down, and more foods, there's less importation of food, and so food prices can come down. Yeah, there's at least an expectation for one more. I'm starting to lean towards two still, but that's hard to say. Well, we still got about 16 days left. 86% are saying a rate hike at this next meeting, and 23% are now saying a rate hike in June as well. So
Yeah, so we have 2 weeks, not a lot of macroeconomic data, and expectations pretty firm that we're going to see a rate hike, 25 bips.
yeah, which is
Fairly
good.
stable. It's good, stable for the market. So other factors will have to come into play to move the markets, it seems, besides this interest rate inflation.
Exactly. I would say that this is exactly what you want to hear.
And
Like,
then, oh, go ahead.
yeah, I was gonna say this is exactly what you want to hear, just because they, if there wasn't such predictability, we could be in for some pretty nasty side effects and just what could happen. And so it's good that the market knows what to expect moving
Yeah,
forward.
yeah. In an interesting contrast to U.S. inflation, China's inflation dropped to its lowest in 18 months. What was interesting to me to read about it was how low their inflation actually is. China has a 0.7% inflation rate now falling from 1.0 and beating expectations for them, even with such small numbers. Consultants have been explaining China's low inflation in comparison with Western economies by the use of Beijing's tighter financial insurance policies throughout the pandemic, how their central bank reacted, and entry to cheaper vitality from allies like Russia and Iran. I'm assuming that's access to energy. And the nation being a producer of most of the commodities it wants. It doesn't have to import a lot. So I thought it was an interesting contrast.
Yeah, that's an interesting contrast to make, especially if we look towards the future. I don't know if that really puts us out of the woods just yet. I think yes, China maybe did better, but that doesn't necessarily mean everything.
Yeah, but on the whole, if you look at both reports and unemployment numbers, everything pretty positive. Maybe a turn in general from this heavy hiking of interest rates environment that we've seen for the last while now.
Yeah.
Kind of worldwide.
Yeah, maybe we're going to start seeing that change, which is good.
Plateau off. But not to be outdone, kind of our Monday morning SEC, get into the crypto. Lawmaker or the SEC announced that is looking to amend the definition of exchange earlier this week to include decentralized finance that trade cryptocurrencies. So preparing to continue to go after more and more crypto and DeFi. And they also announced charges against Bitrue this morning. So following up with their intention, they also put charges against Bitrue. And part of this complaint, they listed 6 different cryptocurrencies as securities: Dash, Algo, OMG, TKN, NGC, and IHT. So just no enforcements have been taken against any of those foundations or anyone running those, but the warning shots are out there from the SEC. They continue to use enforcement to establish the rules.
Yeah. I'm surprised. I'm hoping that we don't see this kind of guilty by association that we're seeing with a lot of exchanges. Does this mean that all of these different algos, like all of these different cryptocurrencies, are all going to get in big trouble now?
There was like 2 big red flags that came out. Just how the SEC views network validators, so networks that incentivize staking to improve the network, like Dash, and how it considers protocol-specific foundations like the Algo that typically have tokens that have been allocated to them to distribute over time, so that they may be coming after them. But that applies to a lot. Even Ethereum would fall under that. Ethereum, Solano.
Oh, yeah. There'd hundreds of cryptocurrencies that would fall under that. And it just seems interesting that every single time they change which cryptocurrencies they're going after, like which cryptos they could call.
I feel like it's no holds barred with them. And then on the other hand, they're saying, oh yeah, come in and register, but there's no way to register. And then people who come in and try to register, they end up just getting slapped with lawsuits.
Yeah, it's a no-win situation. It feels, okay, your cryptocurrency, you offer cryptocurrencies, unless you're just offering Bitcoin, you are liable for being sued as an exchange. That's how it feels.
There's been a little pushback against the SEC. So there's 5 SEC commissioners, and there's a chairman. One of them is the chairman, Gary Gensler. One of them is Hester Pierce, and she is a Republican commissioner. There can only be a maximum of 3 or 2. It can't be all Democrats, all Republicans. But she responded to this SEC announcement to amend the definition of exchange. This was earlier in the week. She had a tweet titled, "Rendering Innovation Kaput." And a quote from it says, "Rather than embracing the promise of new technology we have done in the past, here we propose to embrace stagnation, forced centralization, urge expatriation, and welcome extinction of a new technology. Accordingly, I dissent." But that was pretty strong wording. But there's also continuing to see like a divide between Republicans and Democrats that I've been noticing in the United States anyway. Conservative versus liberal forces.
Yeah,
It
but
seems
Hester
like
Pierce has also always had been pro crypto. So this is not something that I would consider new from Hester Pierce.
sure.
She has been considered in many ways the
Just more and more as I watch this unfold in the United States, it just seems like most crypto holders may not know it, but they may be conservatives. They may be registering Republicans someday.
it's possible.
We'll see. And in addition to the story, after Coinbase's legal chief, Paul Graywall, tweeted out a response to this comment about the SEC changing their definition, Ohio representative, who also happens to be Republican, Warren Davison, responded by saying that he planned to introduce legislation to get rid of the position of chair of the SEC and get rid of Gary Gensler.
That'd be great.
Coming out saying he wants the guy fired, basically. So I don't know how much power this will have. He's only been in Congress since 2016, which I'm not sure how up the totem pole he is and how much traction any legislation he proposes will get. But it's still interesting to hear him say that.
Yeah, it's very interesting to hear him say that.
I don't know if he has the power to actually get this guy removed, though. I'd be surprised.
Yeah, I would be surprised that would be something that he could do that easily. A lot of these things are kind of show moves. More and more, we've been seeing them a lot in Congress for a long time, but around cryptocurrency and the dollar lately, I would say that they've become even more common. So I would argue that we probably continue to see something like this along the lines of just showy moves for the point of showy moves.
Yeah, politicians are always famous for that. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
Speaking of some politicians, some additional FUD, Hillary Clinton came out with some comments saying that Bitcoin could undermine the dollar and destabilize nations. She was in a speech she was speaking at a conference and she brought up crypto. Warren Buffett also had some comments saying that Bitcoin is for gamblers wanting to spin the real wheel. It's strictly gambling. There's strictly gambling along the Liz Warren line. There's no there. It's nothing. It has no value. It's literally just waiting for the next person to pay more, and that's all it is. But one of the interesting quotes from Warren Buffett in this, that once this kind of fervor gets out, you can't put it back in the bottle. So I thought that was when she admitted that it's here to stay a little bit.
Yeah, Warren Buffett does not have a good track record on tech in general. He doesn't understand tech. He's 90-something. So he doesn't really understand tech in a real way. He missed out on most of the tech in the last run. So of course he doesn't understand Bitcoin. And he's going to say Bitcoin's for gambling. He says only invest in things that you understand. And he clearly doesn't understand Bitcoin. So of course he's going to say this. He also feels like he's often prompted to say these things rather than him truly having an opinion on Bitcoin.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. People love to hear him bash it.
It's that they know what he's going to say because it's what he said about most tech. It's what he said about most tech.
Yeah. The other interesting thing about these two quotes together, the Hillary Clinton statement and Warren Buffett, is which one of them is right. To me, they're like a similar crowd, but they're saying different things. And one is there's nothing there, and the other is it could destabilize nations and undermine the dollar. So I'm just wondering which one is it.
Yeah. What are they saying? What's gonna happen?
I tend to think it has the power to destabilize nations, and they're worried about it and realize it's not a technology that's going anywhere. They're just trying to figure out how to deal with it. Not this. It's nothing.
Yeah.
I don't fall for that one.
No.
But while these people are fudding it, the market continues to adopt. We had a Shapella upgrade last week, and it went through pretty much without a hitch. There was some kind of issue that they had to deal with, but it basically went through no problem, which is what you want to see with these upgrades.
Yeah, it's great. I'm really happy to see.
And the market wasn't very volatile either. It did
It
go up
pumped.
a little bit.
It
Yeah,
pumped
pumped. But it didn't.
$200.
But it's come down a little bit, and it didn't pump too crazy.
No, it wasn't a crazy pump. It wasn't absolutely nuts, but it was important. The fact is, everyone thought it was going to dump.
Right.
Absolutely everybody thought it was going to dump. And it
even
didn't.
even just the traditional saying, buy the hype, sell the news, there would be some selling. But yeah, no, it seemed to hold up very well.
Yeah, it did hold up, and I'm really happy to see that. I'm hoping that we can maybe continue to see some strong moves within the market.
Yeah, the market's in an interesting spot. Are we heading into a bull run? Are we waiting a little while longer? Are we gonna test some lower levels before we go? What's happening? We seem to be in this mid-range here. Undecided.
Yeah. Oh, that's it. Very undecided on what's going to happen. And I think we're going to see exactly what everyone thinks it was going to play out. I feel like everyone was expecting the market to need a pullback, and I think that is what's going to happen. The market went...
Just what levels is it going to retest? Like how far down?
That's it. And I think in our case, I'm expecting Bitcoin, it's got to at least retest 20,000 or
Whoa, wow, really?
22,000, 21,000, somewhere in that region. I think it would be unreasonable to say that it doesn't pull back. Maybe it's 25, but it's got to come into the kind of lower zone, because we jumped pretty fast out of 27, and yeah. I would say a pullback is necessary.
Yeah, I think it's just my personal opinion, but I think it's fairly safe to say we've probably seen the bottom. I'd be very surprised to go below the lows of this bear market, but I would still be surprised to see 22.
Yeah, maybe it's more like 25.
Yeah, or 27 where it broke out from. But those are just all different levels to test, and we'll see what it does. It was interesting to watch it break above 35 at that level.
Yeah, see, my big thing is I really don't think Bitcoin will close the year above 40. Which is why I really think it could come back down to 25, maybe like between 21 and 25 in that region, because we did consolidate, but we did really rock it. And there's a lot of resistance at that above area between basically above this price action through 40,000 is quite the resistance area. And so I would say that's something that I have a hard time seeing us breaking through super quickly, especially if the economy is going to get worse. And I think that is something
on the table. Yeah,
that's something that's definitely on the table. We're talking about auto car loans and commercial loans, commercial real estate. Yeah, those. My brain is a little tired, guys. Sorry, but I think those two things are huge pieces.
Yeah, and the effects of a sustained, even though interest rates may stop going up, they've talked about sustaining them for a long time. So how that will play out and how long they sustain them. And there's a lot of things that go into it. But yeah, it's Bitcoin and crypto markets cease to amaze me, though. I have a hard time predicting which way it'll go. I can see so many different things play out.
Oh, absolutely. They're very hard. They've proven to be very hard to predict. I feel like I have a good idea, but there's also a very degen aspect about the crypto market that makes it hard to predict sometimes.
Yeah, remain focused on the fact that I'm a long-term investor. I'm not really a trader. Just continue to DCA and stay involved, help it grow. But in terms of growing, to get back to Ethereum, what's next after the Ethereum Shanghai upgrade known as Shapella? This year, the blockchain is expected to adopt also the Verge, Purge, and Scourge, all tailored to improve the network scalability. And developers have now switched their attention to dank sharding. And generally, sharding aims at improving the scalability through more effective data storage systems. It works by splitting the blockchain into shards, creating mini blockchains, allowing for more room to process transactions. So they're expecting Ethereum's flagship dank sharding, love the word, project expected to launch on the mainnet Q3 of this year.
Okay, so still talking a good few months, although I feel like that is very early, so that's still very soon. I feel like honestly thought it would take longer.
Yeah, it seems like they had just a batch of upgrades kind of lined up, almost like happening at the same time, and geared towards improving scalability. And part of the Verge, there's the Verkle trees will be introduced to help store large amounts of data. Then you have the Purge to get rid of historical data on the network to decongest the blockchain. And then the Scourge, increasing the credibility of the blockchain, become more neutral, avoiding centralization, trying to become more decentralized. So they've got a lot of plans.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
exciting to watch Ethereum grow here this year.
So another kind of interesting thing that we should point out is Vitalik was asked to make comments about if he thought how soon could Ethereum survive without him? And the answer that he came up with was this year.
Like after all this roadmap that he has now, like once this is done, he could step away. He feels a bit hard to believe, but yeah. Yeah, I saw that. That was interesting. That's getting to a place where
he feels like it's safe. Yeah, he feels like he's done his part.
Which is important, and it needs to become more decentralized, I would think, in order to accomplish that. That's one of the claims of fame for Bitcoin is there is no Satoshi Nakamoto. There's no CEO. There's no address, but yet it goes.
Yeah.
Whereas with Ethereum, yeah, you have a leader like Vitalik Buterin. Yeah, it's interesting that they can get to that point.
That's it. So it would be very interesting to see what comes of it in the next coming months. And whether that'd
be a big day if you were ever to step away from it. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's it. I'm wondering if we do see him step away this year. Is he hinting at that he is thinking about stepping away this year, or is it just I could but I won't?
Right. And then what if he does step away? What does he do with his ETH?
Yeah.
All that ETH, oh man.
Oh, that's it.
Speaking of other big name geniuses, Elon Musk and Twitter making news. Twitter enables crypto and stock trading through eToro. Made some waves, but when I was looking into this, is still like everything not available in Hawaii where I live, but it's just a link to a website, and basically you go to eToro. So it's not adoption inside Twitter yet, or using crypto payments in Twitter, but it's still exciting adoption nonetheless.
Yeah, it's adoption. It's cool, but
expansion of their crypto offerings, because you type in the money sign BTC and BTC price would come up, and now there's a link take you to eToro. I've never used them. Can't, even if I wanted to.
You'd get deported. But maybe we've learned something. Maybe we need to get you to move out of Hawaii.
Yeah, I'm thinking El Salvador is a little too hypey. Probably not going there. But maybe Texas.
Of course.
Why not? They seem to be crypto friendly over there. But speaking of El Salvador, Bitfinex Securities. Bitfinex Securities El Salvador is the full name of it. Was granted El Salvador's first ever digital asset license that they've given out. This is building on the law they just passed. And the digital assets insurance issuance law, they were talking about this in the Bitcoin bonds, that this was a step that needed to happen. This is a fully regulated digital assets exchange that will enable the issuance and trading of innovative real-world tokenized assets such as equities and bonds. This is from Jesse Nunson, head of operations at Bitfinex Securities. Quote, "We see considerable demand from both issuer and investors for the products made possible under the new regulation, which includes tokenized shares, yield-bearing assets, and other investment products." Just begs the question to me, what will the first financial products look like? And it doesn't specifically mention, and this is mostly from a Bitfinex announcement, Bitcoin bonds, which always intrigued me, the idea of it and what that would look like.
Yeah, I'm intrigued to find out what they're suggesting it could be. I would be quite ecstatic to know.
Because if there's a way to invest Bitcoin where you could just say, okay, you hold it for 2 years and you can earn Bitcoin on it, I think a lot of people would want to do that.
Yeah,
And that's
but
what a
then why
bond
not just buy Bitcoin? But
Sure. But if you're going to earn this additional, it's just, oh, you hold it for 2 years. I was going to hold it for 2 years anyway, and I can earn a little additional on it. Why? If you felt it was safe and it was highly regulated and not going to, maybe with a percentage of your Bitcoins or something like that.
yeah,
I don't know. Just curious to see what these first financial products will look like and what they do with this. I'll be following this story.
For sure. Absolutely.
Speaking of little countries, Bhutan, the tiny kingdom of Bhutan secretly held millions of dollars in cryptocurrency. This is a Forbes.com article. Bhutan has a $2.9 billion sovereign investment arm, and it came out that they were involved with BlockFi and Celsius. In an attempt to recover funds, BlockFi served a complaint against this investment fund for defaulting on some payments. But it's just interesting. It just takes court documents to reveal some of what's going on. Wealth managers have speculated for several years that government-backed funds are beginning to buy a cryptocurrency, but for now, little known links emerge. The only way we really know is if they buy a publicly traded company like MicroStrategy. So they're basically investing in Bitcoin by buying MicroStrategy, that argument, or the occasional court document like this one.
It's interesting. I'd like to see what happens. I feel like we know that the US government's actually the largest holder of Bitcoin. So
yeah, they confiscated all of it though.
Yeah, but it's still holding it.
Yeah, they said they're going to sell it though.
Yeah, that's true.
They literally hold 1% of Bitcoin, and yet they're still fudding the heck out of it. It's just like they're starting in a decent position in a way.
Yeah,
so you have 1% of it, you could take this and run, but no, they're not. That's not the attitude they have. It's surprising.
Yeah, I don't get it, but I feel like Bitcoin and everything is gonna take some big steps forward, and we will see more governments seeing it as the tool that it really is, and not some weird scam coin. So I think that's important to note. I think we'll see something big change there.
I hope so. I don't want to see 100-year war with it. I don't think it'll go anywhere, but I'd like to see more adoption in my lifetime anyway.
Oh yeah, I would love to see more adoption in our lifetime.
Yeah, it's like part of me thinks like there might be like these two competing systems that emerge, you know.
Oh, definitely. I think that would be a likely scenario.
But we'll see how it plays out. It's an interesting time to be alive. I'm sure every generation has said that. In our weekly Not Your Keys, Not Your Coins reminder, Bitrue suffered a $23 million hack. They have come out and said it affected the hot wallet that holds 5% of our overall funds. The rest of the money is secure, hasn't been compromised. However, the exchange informed customers that it is temporarily suspended withdrawals until tomorrow. So when we post this, you should be able to receive your funds. But still, you have to sweat it while it's not happening. So just a reminder, not your keys, not your coins.
Yeah.
Keep as little as you can on exchanges.
Oh, that's it. Be careful. What's not your money is what's not in your personal wallet is not yours. So think about that.
Crypto is potentially a bearer asset. You can't have it, but it needs to be in the wallet. It's your keys. So.
Yeah, I think Adidas is making interesting moves with NFTs. I think one of my big takeaways is that fashion and NFTs are going to become bigger and bigger. I listened to a really interesting talk involving one of the people at DressX and Stefani, or at least that's his Twitter handle, amongst others, about fashion and NFTs. And I think they made some amazing points, and that there's some really good opportunities there for fashion and NFTs.
Huh. Yeah, it's nice to see, even though some companies have paused or pulled back NFT initiatives, others are moving forward, like Adidas, and that you saw a lot of opportunity there, because it seems like there's a lot of adoption with companies and NFTs and apparel companies. Yeah, I see your point.
Yeah, I was seeing quite a bit from different people, so I think that was incredible.
It seems like anything that could be integrated into collectibles, like clothing or concerts or sporting events, like memorabilia type of stuff. Starbucks, even everyday purchases, but it's also there's a collectible aspect to the Starbucks ecosystem as well.
Yeah, it's collectibles, authenticity, vintage.
Yeah.
So
We also have some interesting adoption news from Solana. 10 months ago, they announced this, but Solana to launch a crypto-focused Saga smartphone on May 8th. They have announced that it's going to launch May 8th. Also, part of this announcement, pre-orders have already been shipped, so anyone who's pre-ordered, you might be on the way. It's pretty exciting. They teased the arrival of the crypto-focused smartphone 10 months ago. I mentioned that. The mobile device doubles as a crypto hardware wallet, and it costs around $1,000 and is built by Bay Area smartphone company OSOM, O-S-O-M. The device will also ship with Android operating system already installed. So interesting adoption. Solana-based smartphone. I'm sure some people will be into that. You going to get one?
Probably not, because I'm not a big Solana fan.
Yeah.
Fair, like I probably won't, but it's definitely interesting.
If I was involved in the ecosystem, I'd want it for sure.
Oh yeah, if I was a big Solana fan, I would probably.
Yeah, if that was a chain I used a lot, but yeah, I don't go on Solana too much either. Uniswap also has some adoption news. They have a wallet, a self-custody open sourced wallet. You can buy, you can also, you'll be able to buy from any of their available chains via debit card and MoonPay as well. So they have their own self-custody wallet opening up as well.
That's really good. MoonPay is a great way to be able to onboard fiat, and so that's a good thing because it's a decentralized, or at least not dependent on centralized exchanges, so that's always a good thing to be able to onboard fiat without the need of a centralized exchange.
Yeah, that can only help with adoption. More on-ramps and off-ramps.
Yeah.
Cool, man. We'll let you rest up from your trip to New York City. I'm excited to hear more about it.
Oh, I'm pumped to talk about it and pumped to share the insights with you and our team at Bedrock and on Not Crypto Bros tomorrow. So I'm pumped.
All right. Thanks for listening to Decentralized News. We post to YouTube first, so please consider subscribing to catch the videos as soon as they drop. Our goal is to provide unfiltered content that will help foster genuine discussions to help this entire space grow. Please remember, this is not financial advice. We are not financial advisors. The show is presented for educational and entertainment purposes only. Please do your own research before making any investment decisions. Thanks for your support and stay tuned for the next episode.